What is the actual science behind why some people just look so incredibly good, even when they objectively aren't that physically attractive? Psychological studies recently revealed that a perfect jawline only controls about 50% of your physical magnetism. The other half is driven entirely by 6 invisible behavioral hacks that literally alter how the human brain perceives your face in real time. Today, we are unlocking the exact psychological playbook to make yourself undeniably attractive. But you must watch this in exact order, because if you stick around for the 6th and final habit, I am going to expose the most toxic dating lie you have ever been sold. Let's get into it. Trick 1. Master emotional control. We have to start with the absolute biggest separator in the modern dating pool. You are sitting at an expensive restaurant, the conversation is flowing perfectly, and suddenly the waiter drops a plate of hot nachos onto your lap. If you panic, get flustered, and yell at the waiter, your attractiveness drops to 0. Studies show the human brain is hardwired to seek stability and safety. When you stay calm in a chaotic situation, you signal to everyone's system that you are a safe, grounded anchor. I once realized my debit card declined and instantly spiraled into a sweaty apology tour. I acted like I had committed fraud, and the FBI was waiting outside. I offered to leave my shoe as collateral. My date looked at me like a fragile Victorian child needing a nap. If I had just laughed, stayed relaxed, and confidently said, "I am an absolute idiot," order dessert while I call my bank, the dynamic would have been perfectly fine. When you master emotional control, people are drawn to you because they feel secure in your presence. But staying calm won't help if your brain is currently committing this next social crime. Trick 2. Focus outward. The biggest killer of attractiveness is an obsession with how you are being perceived. Psychologists call this the spotlight effect, and it is why you feel awkward at social events. You walk into a room, and your paranoid brain instantly convinces you everyone is judging your outfit. You fold your arms, stare at your phone, and project the charisma of a terrified turtle. You look like an IRS auditor. Attractive people do the opposite by focusing outward. They are more interested in the fascinating humans around them than their appearance. I used to go to networking events and rehearse my introduction while they spoke. I wasn't listening. I was waiting for my turn to drop a crafted sentence. Nobody remembered me, and I went home to eat cold pizza alone. The second you stop performing and actually engage with the people in front of you, your body language opens up. Your facial expressions soften. You stop looking like a tense security guard and start looking like a warm, magnetic human being. Focusing outward makes you hotter because it makes other people feel seen. But if your body is betraying you, all that outward focus is wasted. Trick 3. Move with intention. Here is a biological truth that most people ignore. Rushed, erratic movements make you look desperate. Think about every charismatic movie character. James Bond never sprints to the bar to grab his martini. He moves slowly with unbothered intention. When you fidget, bounce your leg like a jackhammer, talk at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and adjust your collar, you broadcast anxiety. You are holding up a neon sign screaming, "I do not feel comfortable. Please validate me." Studies on nonverbal communication prove that people who move slower with deliberate purpose are rated as more attractive. They take up space. They don't rush to fill awkward silences with rambling. I once watched a guy aggressively shred a cardboard coaster into 100 tiny pieces while telling a story. He made it snow at the dinner table because his nervous energy was out of control. You have to slow down. Let your physical movements show you are comfortable right where you are, even if the conversation pauses. But moving slowly won't save you if you are hiding behind this exhausting mask. Trick 4. Become comfortably authentic. We need to talk about the exhaustion of trying to be cool. Most people operate under the delusion that if they curate the perfect persona, everyone will magically fall in love with them. So they act like mysterious intellectuals or whatever aesthetic is currently trending on the internet. But the human brain has a highly tuned radar for authenticity. When you perform a fake personality, people subconsciously feel the friction. It feels fake. It feels strained, and it makes their nervous system uncomfortable. Undeniable attractiveness comes from becoming comfortably authentic. It means you stop performing and start being real. It means boldly owning your actual interests instead of pretending you spend weekends reading French philosophy. I spent my early 20s trying to convince everyone I was a cultured indie film aficionado. It was absolutely exhausting, because I genuinely just wanted to drink a blue Gatorade, binge watch anime, and aggressively debate the lore of One Piece and Devil Fruit Awakenings. The exact moment I dropped the cool guy act and admitted I was a massive nerd, my dating life completely transformed. Because people do not fall in love with a curated PR package or a walking resume. They fall in love with a flawed human being who is relaxed enough to exist in their own weirdness. But being authentic absolutely does not mean taking yourself too seriously, which is the toxic trap we are covering next. Trick 5. Laugh at yourself first. If you want to instantly disarm a room, master the art of laughing at yourself first. People who take themselves too seriously are incredibly fragile. They are one awkward comment or bad hair day away from an ego meltdown. And fragile egos are exhausting to be around. You feel like you have to constantly walk on eggshells just to keep them happy. But when you can laugh at yourself first, you become psychologically bulletproof. Let's say you trip over a chair while walking up to introduce yourself to someone attractive. If you turn bright red, stare at the floor, and awkwardly shuffle away in total shame, the romantic interaction is dead. You killed it with your own embarrassment. But if you bounce right back up, look them dead in the eye and say, "I usually save my professional stunt work for the second date, but you looked special," you just turned a humiliating failure into a charismatic slam dunk. Using self-deprecating humor, delivered with actual confidence, signals immense psychological security. It subconsciously tells the other person you are so deeply comfortable with your own value that a minor public embarrassment doesn't threaten you at all. It proves you don't need to be flawless to be worthy of attention. But all of these conversational tricks and body language adjustments are useless if you are failing at the sixth and final foundational step. Trick 6. Build a life you don't need to escape from. This is the psychological showstopper that changes absolutely everything you think you know about attraction. You can have the perfect jawline, brilliant jokes, and the emotional control of a meditating monk. But if you are actively using dating as a desperate escape hatch from a miserable existence, everyone will immediately smell it on you. Desperation has a very specific scent, and it is the single most unattractive perfume on the open market. When you absolutely hate your job, have zero hobbies, and spend your evenings endlessly scrolling through social media in a dark room, you place a massive, unfair burden on the people you date. You are essentially begging them to be your sole source of entertainment, validation, and emotional stability. That is terrifying for them. They aren't looking to adopt a grown adult. They are looking for an equal partner. The most magnetically attractive people on planet Earth all share one common, undeniable trait. They have built a life they genuinely enjoy living, whether someone else is there to witness it or not. They have weird passions that light them up. They have friendships that deeply fulfill them. They have massive goals that drag them out of bed with actual energy. When your life is already rich and fulfilling, you don't approach dating like a starving person begging for crumbs outside a bakery. You approach it like someone who already has a massive, incredible feast, simply asking if someone else wants to pull up a chair and share the meal. That psychological shift in energy changes your entire posture. It changes the way you speak, the way you listen, and how easily you walk away from people who aren't a good fit. A fulfilling life naturally makes you look significantly better, because undeniable confidence is just a biological byproduct of not needing the other person to save you.